All right, welcome back to the channel. So Mikey Garcia says that he wants Terrence Crawford and Keith Thurman, but there's going to be a problem with the Keith Thurman fight, or excuse me, with the Terrence Crawford fight because of that POS Bob Arum standing in the way with these lies that he keeps telling. That, according to Mikey Garcia, very interesting conversation in my opinion, because this feeds right into something I was going to talk about with Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Bob Arum. But let's do it in this video. Let's talk about it now. All right, welcome back to the channel. So one of the overriding themes that I've had on this channel for the last 3 years is that Bob Arum ain't got no problem telling the story. And when I hear Bob Arum say something, I just listen, wait around, see what happens, and 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to find out, yeah, he told me a story. Because he's just saying what he needs to say to get people to do what they want him, what he wants them to do at the moment. Not unusual for a promoter or a salesman or, you know, people like that, but it is what it is. So when Mikey Garcia is on Fight Hype, being asked about what his next fights are going to be, and he gets emotional, I wouldn't say emotional, but he starts cussing more than I would have usually expected him to do, and starts talking about Bob Arum, I can 100% feel him, because I am waiting to see what's going to go on with this Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight. But I can't have a straight conversation with people for all the lies Bob Arum keeps telling people, and then those people keep coming back to me with. But let's talk about what he says about the fight with Terrence Crawford and what he wants to do moving forward, and how what Bob Arum has to do with that. So Mikey Garcia is being interviewed by Fight Hype, or he actually might be on a, they put it up on the channel. It might have been like a Instagram live stream or something like that. But he's talking about what his next fights are. And he said, yeah, man, I would love to fight Keith Thurman. I would love to fight Terrence Crawford. But he said, look, man, the problem with the Terrence Crawford fight happening is with Bob Arum. And that Bob Arum is just making stuff up and, you know, he basically was like, F him, man. I'm tired of being polite, talking about it, acting as if, you know, I can't say what the truth is because my brother is still working with him, or for this, you know, reason or the other reason. Look, man, the guy's just not telling the truth. And so what he's saying he's not telling the truth about is that when, you know, if you recall this, it may have been, man, maybe 3-4 months ago. I think it was maybe 3-4 months ago. Terrence Crawford or Mikey Garcia was brought up to Bob Arum. And Bob Arum said, no, Mikey Garcia is asking for ridiculous amounts of money for the Terrence Crawford fight. So that's just a non-starter, right? Bob Arum also said that, you know, about 3 months ago about Keith Thurman as well, where he's like, look, Keith Thurman is asking for like $10 million for the fight. We can't make this fight, right? And Keith Thurman says the same thing. Like, what are you talking about? I've never asked for this amount of money, right? I mean, like, if I say something in the press, that doesn't mean that that's the only offer that I'll take. You know, give me a counter offer, right? So that's what Mikey Garcia said about Bob Arum. This is what Keith Thurman said about Bob Arum. And here it comes out again, right? Where Terrence is like, look, I would love to do it, but I just don't think that fight's going to ever be made. Because now he doesn't say for sure whether it is because of Bob Arum. Now, I got to give, you know, Bob Arum that credit, where Mikey's like, look, man, Bob Arum is probably listening to the people that work for him that are saying all these things, talking to him about what I'm asking for and what I'm requesting. But Bob's never actually sat down and talked to me about it or went through that with me. So, you know, how would he know, right? Or he doesn't know. He's just going and believing what people, you know, the people beneath him are saying. Now, is that possible? It's not just possible, it's probable, because Bob Arum's like 195 years old. And that's what happens when you get to be, you know, an octogenarian. Am I saying that word right? An octogenarian. When you get to be old like that, like he's 90 years old, you're gonna have people delegate, you know, and you're gonna have these people do the things that you want them to do so that you can have, you know, a more comfortable day. And what is he doing, like, you know, with his sativa and all of that? And it very well may be that he's just asleep at the wheel, and there's some people underneath him that are working for him that don't want these fights to happen or want other fights to happen for whatever reason, and are just not, you know, giving him the proper information. But The buck stops with Bob Arum. It doesn't matter whether or not these people were giving him that information or not giving him the information. Bob Arum, at the end of the day, knows that the fights that are being made by Top Rank are not good fights. So that's really not an excuse to be asleep at the wheel and have somebody, I think is it Todd DeBuff or whoever it is that Mikey might be talking about. There's just no excuse for it, no excuse for it. So whether or not Bob Arum is actively involved in these things and that's, and he's the reason that they're falling apart, or whether he's relying on third parties or tertiary parties to let him know what's going on. Either way, it's just not a good look, man. So, as much as I would love to see Mikey Garcia fight Terrence Crawford, because I'm telling you, man, I think Mikey Garcia may still be the best fighter in the world under 147 pounds. I mean, he's lost to Errol Spence Jr., but he lost to Errol Spence Jr. about in the same fashion that Danny Garcia lost to Errol Spence Jr., right? These guys are all losing to Errol Spence Jr. that way. But so if you look at Mikey he still can beat guys like Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. Regis Prograis is another really good fight that I would love to see. We'd love to see made for him. But obviously, what Mikey wants is he wants the big money fights. He wants the big money fight like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, and Keith Thurman. But unless he's able to convince Bob Arum to pay, pretty high amount of money. I think, what did he pay? Like $2.5 million or something like that, $3 million for Kell Brook. Mikey Garcia is going to want more than that. Mikey Garcia, for a fight like what should be a pay-per-view fight between him and Terrence Crawford, he's going to want $6 million. He might even want $9 million for that fight. But we'll see, and we'll see how close it gets, man. The way that I see it, this thing playing itself out, though, is like this. Mikey Garcia is probably going to be fighting, with guys like, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Mikey Garcia Keith Thurman fight. Wouldn't be surprised, because I don't know where Keith Thurman is going to go and where Mikey Garcia is going to go. They're both really high dollar guys who are both with the PBC, who are not readily available or not going to be get the fights with the Manny Pacquiao right away. Manny Pacquiao and Mikey Garcia was a fight that they say they were going to make, but hasn't been made yet. And actually, now that I think about it, that's probably the most likely fight for Mikey Garcia is Manny Pacquiao, and it's probably the most likely fight for Manny Pacquiao too. Now, I'm sorry that kind of slipped in my mind going into the beginning of this, because I do recall that those guys were in negotiations early on. Maybe in May of last year, I think that they might have been. No, it was later than that. It was in October, November that Mikey was talking about fighting Manny. And if you look at it, that fight really does make the most sense. So maybe that's where he's gonna go. He'll go to the Manny fight. But now you got Ryan Garcia saying that he wants to fight Manny. That he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao. It's just really, really crazy, man, going on it between 135, 140, and 147. What we really need is just need to get rid of like 3 of these belts so that we only have just one belt, right, between those 3 weight classes, and we know for sure who the man is. And is it at 147? Is it Errol Spence Jr.? If it is, let that just be that. If it's 140, who's the top guy there? If it's Jose Ramirez, let it be that. If it's Teofimo Lopez at 135, let it be that. But then when these guys get the belt, make these guys fight each other so that we can know who the best is, on a continuously ongoing basis. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. And with that, I'm out. Peace.